I woke up this morning, went and got my morning Coca-Cola, and said, oh, hey, looks like a new movie came out. All right. Alright guys, gals, and everything in between, I'm here today to review for you Extraction. So Extraction is a action movie, like one of the one-man army styles with Chris Hemsworth, and produced by Anthony and Joe Russo, and written by Joe Russo, whom you know from Avengers Endgame. That's one hell of a team, basically bringing in the Avengers Endgame people for an action movie vehicle. And as you all know, I'm a sucker for action movies. That being said, I can see why it's being released on Netflix and not in theaters. It's just kind of boring. I was actually amazingly bored throughout the entirety of this film. Chris Hemsworth does great with what he has, but this is really just, two rival gangs. The kingpin of one kidnaps the kid, who's the son of the other kingpin, and, now we have our clash, and that's a pretty simple premise, and they try to make it a whole lot more complicated than it needs to be. And it just comes off as they're trying to be convoluted for the sake of being convoluted. There's a couple double crosses, I guess, if you want, in this film to try and mix it up and everything. Because this film takes itself so seriously, eventually you just get to the point that when these cliches happen, it just comes off as kind of stupid. Like, if there was a little bit more humor, things behind it, like John Wick is a perfect example, because this film clearly tries to emulate John Wick throughout the majority of it. The difference is John Wick is this kind of pulpy, fun action movie that, has some of those dark, dramatic elements, but it's also mixed with some of the humor, and you can tell that it's paying homage. Whereas in a film as melodramatic as this, it just kind of comes off well, I guess this is about the time that something needs to happen. Let's have someone betray somebody. It's lazy. When the action happens, it's impressive, honestly. There's a one-shot take that goes on for probably about 10 minutes. And for the most part, that one-shot action scene is stellar. They do certain elements in that one shot that really bug me, where it's lazy on the filmmaking part, where they want a surprise moment in there. So what do? Well, they turn the camera away from what's going to come at Chris Hemsworth, and next thing you know, boom, surprise. And that's fine for one shot, but eventually you get to the point that you go, oh yeah, something's going to happen right here, because it's off camera. And they do that 3 times in this thing. And I go, oh hey, the camera's slightly panned close up to Chris Hemsworth. What do you know, something's going to hit right there and be like, boom, surprise. It'd be kind of like if something came from behind where my camera was and just smacked me in the face. Yeah, it would be surprising, but at the same time, when you do that over and over and over again, you just kind of go, oh yeah, now that the camera's at this specific angle, pretty much we know it's going to happen, which kind of takes you out of the action a little bit. Aside from that action scene was awesome. The hand-to-hand combat is just so visceral, and the gunplay is spectacular. Now, the director of this film is actually a stunt coordinator, also from Avengers Endgame. So you can see where he shines with the stunt work. And Chris Hemsworth does a stellar job, and those fight scenes were brutal, and props to the director on that part. The film slows down way too much, and kind of lopsided pacing, and you don't really care about any of the characters except for Chris Hemsworth's character. I don't even remember the kid's name. I just know him as the kid, and then there was the girl that was randomly badass at one point, and then there's the other guy, and then there's David Harbour for a couple scenes. That's about it. It's very not memorable. It's one of those movies that I think that is going to suffer from that big time, where people are just going to lose interest and turn it off. And frankly, I wouldn't blame them. this film is just kind of throwaway, and it got a little bit more credit and budget than it really deserves because, hey, the Avengers Endgame guys want to do an action movie, but in my opinion, it was a misfire. It was done improperly. But if you want to see some really cool action scenes, hey, there's a couple really cool action scenes in here. It's just you're gonna have to fast forward through a lot of unnecessary, just real like muddy, like that leftover slush from one of those Sonic slushies, and it's just kind of that goop, and you don't want it, but it's just there, but you gotta get it through it if you want to finish it, but then you just kind of don't. Yeah, you get what I'm trying to say, which is it's a mess. With those really, really well done action scenes, I'd say that the film is worth watching at background noise at best, and that's me being generous. So yeah, background noise, guys. If you find a YouTube compilation of the action scenes, that's really all you need. Everything else is just kind of an overly convoluted mess, and that's saying something when this is a point A to point B action movie. Alright, guys, gals, and everything in between. Did you see Extraction? Did you enjoy it? Are you less inclined to see it now? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Got plenty more videos coming to you. Love you guys.